Welcome to the October the 15th, 1991 taping of It's Happening in Grand Prairie. We have such an exciting show for you today. Before we bring you our first two guests, we have a couple of community service announcements. The first one, there is a holiday bazaar scheduled for October the 19th at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. It begins at 8 a.m. in the morning until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Their magic address is 727 Hill Street. Remember, the women of St. Andrews invite you to their wonderful bazaar, so get ready for the Christmas season and go by shopping with them. Also, mark your calendar for October the 25th if you are an ex-Gopher or if you're a Gopher. The Grand Prairie Gopher alumni will be hosting homecoming along with Grand Prairie High School on October the 25th. Watch our news and notes about that because we're going to have them on the show next week. And now, for the show of the day at the beginning of our interview, we're very pleased again to have Navy Dallas represented by the head honcho of that particular group, the commander, who is Captain George Krause. George Krause, we're glad to have
Ruthie.
you with us, Captain, sir.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
It's great to be here.
Yes,
of course, whenever you introduce me as being in charge of the Naval Air Station, I'm inclined to think of my wife's reaction to those kinds of introductions.
Yes.
Whenever anyone introduces me like that, she always stands up and takes credit for it until I can get her under control. Well, she's not here today, so I guess I'm in charge.
Yes, but Jean was supposed to be here with a brownie troop to follow you on the show. But
thank goodness we avoided that. Huh?
Yeah, no, we're going to have her on later if they'll ever, in Arlington schools, to let them take a field trip, okay?
Yes, that's correct, they will.
Shall we complain to the board?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I think we can arrange that without any further ado.
Wonderful. And Lieutenant Bob Tedesco, we're so glad to have you back with us,
It's good to be back.
You bet, yes, and y'all have lots of good things going on, but we're going to let protocol take over here. We're going to let the captain speak first. What's going on at Navy Dallas?
Oh, nothing much. Just the biggest air show in our history, and a great one it is. We've got our 50th anniversary celebration this coming weekend, the 19th and 20th. It's also the 75th anniversary of the founding of the Naval Air Reserve, so we have a great deal to celebrate. We're opening the base up to whoever would like to arrive. It's a completely free show. It's an air show and static displays. The air show portion features the Blue Angels, but that's not all we're going to have. We'll not only have the Blue Angels, we'll have A4s, we'll have F-14s, we'll have a Bell X-15 tilt rotor demonstration, F-16, we're going to have wing walking, we're going to have the fabulous Smoke and Thunder and Jan Colmer dragster airplane contest. This is really going to, it makes a lot of noise and makes a lot of smoke, and you're going to love it. It's a, let me consult my cheat sheet here, and I'll read to you exactly what it says. Raw jet power and flames hurl Scott Hammock's dragster its astonishing speeds as a duel with an airborne opponent. Well, I think that says enough about that.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
We'll have the Fat Albert JTOW launch, which was very spectacular last year, and Gene Soucy wing walking, I mentioned that, and a few other air demos as well. It's a continuous show. It starts at noon, and my advice to anyone who wants to see this free show is to arrive well before noon. The gates open at 8. I recommend you be there well before 11. There are ground attractions which you'll be able to take advantage of before the air portion of the show starts. We'll have hot air balloon rides in the morning. We'll have aircraft displays. We'll have the Patriot missile system on display, a huge C-5 aircraft, largest military aircraft in the world. Desert Storm equipment of all kinds, Marine blank weapons firing range. Heaven only knows what that's going to involve. Be out there for that. And of course, I think most important of all, something that's often ignored in air shows, is that military does not consist exclusively of hardware that makes a lot of noise. It consists of people, and in Dallas's case, a large number of people who went to Desert Storm and who sacrificed tremendously to do that. Some of the people that you'll be seeing out at the base, and they'll be in their uniform and they're there to talk to you, actually gave up their livelihoods to defend our country in Southwest Asia, and I think it's something that ought to be emphasized. We'll have a number of military people in uniform. Talk to them. They'll tell you about their experiences. and they'll talk to you about the equipment that's on the field. And I think it can be a very rewarding event for both adults and children. So there's a lot to do. My advice is to arrive early, stay a long time. We have limited bleacher seating. It's $5 per seat, but that only offsets the cost of having the bleachers. If you don't plan to sit in the bleachers, bring folding chairs or blankets to sit on. The grass has been cut short, but it's dry, and you'll want to be comfortable. The major viewing area is still on the grass. The air show narration will be broadcast on 93.5 FM, so bring your FM portable radio. Listen to 93.5 FM on the drive in, so you can be advised of the traffic situation, which will be considerable, which is why I advise you to arrive early. Food and drinks, including beer and novelties, will be for sale on the base. We recommend that you not bring coolers because walking will be necessary for most parking areas, and you don't want to haul these coolers over long distances. For safety reasons, obviously, coolers are not going to be allowed in the bleachers. The air show information line, for anyone who would like to call in and get more information than I've been able to pass out, just call 266-6793. And the last note I advise you to do is bring some sunscreen protection, because you'll be in the sun all day long. Of course, there'll be portable head facilities available in addition to the food and drinks, so don't worry about being uncomfortable. And of course, I'll be there to answer any questions you might have. The line will be long, but heck, I can talk all day. I practically have already.
Oh, that's wonderful. Commander, we're just glad you're wound up about this 50th anniversary and the 75th anniversary, and it sounds great, doesn't it?
It is. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time. All right, Lieutenant Tedesco, PR, marketing, probably the man of the week, along with Commander John Peck, I believe, has something to do with the Blue Angel part. Tell us your role in this and how you're backing up the commander and all this good stuff.
Well, my job primarily is to get the word out to the public. For some of you commuters that commute on I-30 have probably already seen the billboard going west near Beltline. That's one of them. Also, getting some of the sponsorship with the Dallas Morning News, getting newspaper ads, getting radio stations. KRLD radio on 1080 AM will be also a sponsor, and also will be doing a simulcast with 93.5 FM. My other part is to answer all your questions when you call the base, and the phone has been ringing off the hook, so that's how we know that we're really going to be busy this weekend. We're expecting an enormous crowd. Some of the most commonly asked questions are about getting to the air station. Would you like for me to?
Yes, I would. I'd like you to look right out into your camera and let them know.
Okay, basically, the air show itself will be taking part on the western side of the airfield. If you're not familiar with NAS Dallas, that's on the side where the LTV Corporation is located. You'll probably see the traffic moving in that direction when you arrive off of Jefferson Boulevard. But to get to the base, the best way to get there is to get on 14th Street, just west of LTV, and go south until you hit Garrett Street. You take a left onto Garrett, and then I believe it's Lake Crest that immediately comes into the Army Gate. One thing I want to add is that the on-base parking on that side of the field will fill up pretty quickly in the morning. Once that is shut down, the gate there, the primary parking will now shift to LTV's parking lot, who's graciously offered up their parking. The good part about the whole thing is you really don't have to worry about where the parking is. Once the gates close, the blockades and everything will move back so that everything will be flowing into LTV, so there's no question about where to park. And that's one of the main things. There will also be some limited parking on the east side of the base when you come in the main gate. We're recommending, if you're handicapped, to use the west gate if you come early, because that's the closest to the air show. If you're handicapped and come later, park on the east side of the base where we will have dark buses, handicapped buses, transporting people to the west side of the base. So the handicapped, there should be no problem. We'll also have facilities for handicapped, the porta potties, that sort of thing out there on the field.
That is wonderful. Blue Angels are due to arrive when?
Well, they'll be arriving on Thursday,
All right.
and they'll be practicing setting up their center point for their show and doing some of the normal Blue Angel logistics on Thursday and Friday. And they'll be putting on 2 shows, one each on Saturday and Sunday. So, and they put on a good show. They make a lot of noise. They've got afterburners. They've got F-18s. They have a nice show, and I think it's about an hour long, as a matter of fact. So there's plenty to see.
Captain Krause, since you're a hero in your own right in the flying field, tell us your favorite of all of the planes that you have flown, and if you had your choice only to fly one, what would that be?
Well, my formative experience was in the F-4, a McDonnell Douglas aircraft that's it's somewhat antique these days, but a wonderful airplane. It was wonderful because it was a very democratic airplane. Almost anybody can fly it. It had lots of power. It didn't have any strange flying characteristics about it. It was difficult to fly in combat, but it was easy to bring aboard the ship, and I liked that, particularly at night. It had almost an instant power response. It was a safe, comfortable airplane, and with 2 engines, 3 hydraulic systems, 3 electrical systems, it wasn't the kind of an airplane that'd come apart on you when you're 50 miles into Indian country and you don't want the airplane doing its own thing anyway. So, and that never happened to me. It could take a hit and still make it to the beach. That never happened to me either, thank goodness, and I'm very grateful for that. But it was a great airplane, a stable bomber, a good fast fighter, a great interceptor. When you talk about the expense of manufacturing aircraft these days, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to fly the airplane, you can't spend enough money on it to keep me safe in a combat environment. There's certainly enough going on where you don't want the airplane to be a concern to you. I love the F-4. I have about 2,500 hours in it, and I wouldn't have wanted to fly anything else.
Oh, that's a great testimonial for that. Now, we're getting down toward the end of our time on this show. I really would like for you to look out and invite everyone to this special birthday salute, Blue Angels, wrap up the whole thing for us. Would you do that?
Well, we'll all be out there, and you're going to be our guests, and we're going to put on a show that you can be proud of and that we'll be proud of. The Blue Angels are the best flight demonstration team in the military service. They put on a terrific show. We've got not only the Blue Angels, but a dozen other extremely attractive events. We have facilities that can accommodate any number of people. We expect a large number, so please arrive early. Talk to the military people that we'll have out there. They're the ones that went to Desert Storm, and they're the ones that sacrificed for our national defense. It's for them, it's for you, it's for everybody. Enjoy yourself. It's our 50th anniversary. That'll never happen again. See you on the flight line.
Wonderful. And Lieutenant Tedesco, would you give us that magic telephone number for that last-minute question?
Either 266-6793, or you can call my office at 266-6140 or 41. One other thing I'd like to point out, and that's mostly the people of Grand Prairie, is that you will hear a significant increase in the amount of noise during the time on Saturday, Sunday from about noon till 4. So just bear with us and just realize that what we're doing out there is, I think some people really haven't heard about it. We just want to get the word out.
Yes, one more thing.
For those of you who come in the West Gate, the Garrett Street exit, which is 1 block south of Skyline, you're going to be going through a residential area, which means there might be children playing on nearby lawns, so you'll have to go slow. Also, the road is a little rough. That's not our fault. If you want the road repaired, you talk to Mayor McGuffey about the road on Garrett Street, and he'll repair it for us, maybe.
Great.
Put the heat on the mayor.
What a way to end this show. Oh, love it. I want to thank y'all for being with us today.
Sure.
We're looking forward to celebrating with you. It's going to be an exciting time.
I'll see you out there.
Appreciate it very, very much. And we'll be right back.
This dollar of your tax money was used to pick up the can you threw out the window the other day.
This $5 of your tax money was used to pick up that candy wrapper you threw out last week.
This $20 of your tax money was used to pick up the bottle you tossed.
Why spend money on extra taxes? Spend it on what you want.
I bought this new car because I spread the word, not the waste. Don't mess with Texas.
Before bringing you our next two guests, we have a couple of community service announcements. First of all, Spotlight on Broadway. The First United Methodist Church and Choir is sponsoring this wonderful dinner theater presentation. The director is Bill Bass, featuring the outstanding church members in their choir, their singers. This is going to be Saturday, October the 19th at 7 p.m., also repeated on Sunday afternoon on October the 20th at 4 p.m. And if you need further information, please call 264-6148, which is the church office, and the prices are $5 for adults and $2.50 for children. This is a fundraiser, and we hope that you'll support the First United Methodist Church in this dinner theater, Spotlight on Broadway, October 19th and 20th, 7 p.m. and 4 p.m. respectively. Next, the Red Ribbon Campaign, the week of October the 19th through the 27th, and it's Don't Do Drugs and all of the things that relate to Red Ribbon Week. And there is going to be a special gathering, a rally, on Wednesday, October the 23rd at Grand Prairie High School in the new gymnasium from 4:30 until 6:30, and that we hope that everyone will rally out to celebrate on Red Ribbon Day, and especially this one particular day. Gaylord Hayes and Beverly Stubblefield are in charge of most of this, and call 263-4232 for further information about the Red Ribbon Campaign. And now, for Teen Court, the Teen Court founder, a very special young man who is also a very important judge, not only in our town, but all of the other towns that he services, as a very special government person. Judge Gray, we want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Ruthie. It's always good to be here.
Yes, and as the founder of Teen Court, we just feel real honored to have you here wearing that hat today.
Thank you.
No, you bet. And Lane Morris, we're delighted to welcome you from Teen Court as one of the board members, and we want to hear from both of you all. What's happening with Teen Court now, Judge Gray?
Well, Ruthie, we're starting our 15th year now, and we're starting our 16th year.
Yes, we are.
And we're just moving along and growing, thriving. We have, for example, last night we held court, and we had 3 juries of young people working. I had 2 teenage attorneys serving the state as prosecutors. I had 2 teenage attorneys working as defense. I had a young man all dressed up in his Explorer Scout uniform serving as our bailiff. And we had a number of trials last night, and just probably took care of roughly 20 cases or so, all of them involving criminal activity here in our community.
All right, when we say criminal activity here in our area, and you know that this is a teen court, does this mean that you are dealing with teenagers?
Oh yes, that's all we deal with.
All right.
Most of the youthful offenders, I'm thinking of one young man, I won't want to call his name, who was only 11, who was on trial last night for a theft case, a shoplifting case. We have some drug-related offenses, some traffic offenses, abusive language, disorderly conduct, and just about anything that a young man or a young woman can get into, we've had it in the teen court over the past 15, 16 years.
All right, and when they come to teen court, what does that mean to the young person, Judge Gray? Does that mean that's in lieu of putting them in jail, in lieu of fining them? Let the general public know what happens when they're assigned to teen court instead of going the general route.
Ruthie, that is a very good question, and that's something that is I regard as being the cornerstone of the teen court. Personally, I have never felt that a young man or a young woman learned anything by having their parents pay a fine for them. I believe that all of us benefit from paying back the debt that we owe society by working in the community, and I'm really big on community service, and the young people pay back in lieu of a fine for the offense they've committed by working in the community, picking up trash on the highways, working for the Parks Department, perhaps a special project for United Charities or whatever. Now, the benefit for that is that, First of all, the parents don't pay the fine, which they shouldn't have to pay anyway since they haven't done anything wrong. Secondly, and most importantly, there's no record. Nothing to keep that young man or that young woman from growing up to be productive and becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or a pharmacist or whatever he or she wants to do with their life, and it gives them a second chance, and I really believe that's extremely important.
All right, the next key that I think is the most important, and you may not, is that they're tried by their peers. How do you select your juries, and who are the ones that find these teenagers guilty?
All right, that also is a very good question, and I trust the juries. It's been 16 years, and I rarely have had a jury come back with a decision in the teen court that I haven't agreed with. As a matter of fact, they're a little bit harder on some of these young people than I would be. And they come from everywhere, and they come from all walks of life, all social economic groups. I remember last night, to use another example from last night, looking at a jury. I had 2 Hispanics on that jury, 1 African American, and the rest of them were Anglos. And they were a genuine cross-section of our community. Some rich, some poor, some sort of in the middle. And they do a good job. They're fair. And I really believe in our teen court system, and I've seen it in action for many years, and I'm convinced that it works and works well.
What are the ages of the jurors that you have, Judge?
Ruthie, the youngest juror that we have had in our program is 10. The age ranges from 10 up to 16. I have a few young people who stay in my program after they're 16, as long as they're still in high school. The cutoff is the graduation from high school. Once a young man or a young woman graduates and goes to college or whatever they do, I feel that it's time for them to sort of leave room for somebody else that's coming up. And it's sometimes a little sad for me, but I've had to actually ask some of our young people to leave when they've been with me for 5, 6, 7 years. And I don't like it, but I'll have to say, look, you've done a great service to the community, and I know you've learned a lot, but it's time for you to go on now with your life and your career and leave space for somebody else.
Wonderful. And I see Lane Morris smiling very widely there. Lane, I know that you'd like to look out into your camera and tell how you became acquainted with the teen court and what you're doing back now as a board member.
Well, I first started working with the teen court when I was in the 7th grade. Through the Lions Club, I became involved with the teen court program. And I worked as a defense attorney for 2 years, and then for the following 3 or 4 years, I worked as the chief prosecuting attorney.
Yes.
And after graduating from high school, Judge Gray had to kick me out of the program.
Yes?
But I was elected to be on the board.
Yes.
And I've been doing that since.
And that's wonderful to have that expertise on the board. And now the board is out beating the drum for sponsorships, for donations, for foundations, anyone that would like to give us a little bit of money or a whole lot of money. And what do we need all this for, Judge?
Ruthie, that's a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. We have expenses. We have a truck that we own. We have yard maintenance equipment that we have to repair and maintain. One of our biggest expenses every year is insurance. We have to pay to protect these young people while they're out working to be sure that they're covered if they should become injured. And we're always looking for people that will give us a hand in that regard. I might add, I really couldn't do it without the board. You know, a lot of people will say this is Judge Gray's teen court. It really isn't Judge Gray's teen court. It's Grand Prairie's teen court. It's our community program, and without the board of directors and all of the wonderful volunteers that we have, many of them adults and many of them children, we couldn't do it. It's a team effort, and all of us work together, and I sort of stand on the outside, so to speak, and direct things, but I have a lot of good advice and a lot of good help, and frankly, I could never do it alone.
Well, we have a wonderful president, David Tesmer, who works with us, and Judy White, who is our secretary. And by the way, Judge, would you like to tell us your benefactor that helped us get out of the mess with our truck the other day when our truck got hurt? I think there's a young man in town with a Chevrolet house that really comes to your rescue several times. Would you like to name drop a little?
Well, I'd just be delighted to. I take any opportunity I can to drop his name. Stan Graff is a man that When the teen court's in trouble, he's there, always, and has been, not on just this one occasion recently, but many times in the years past. And Stan is one of our biggest supporters and has done, I don't have the time to tell you all that he's done to help the teen court over the years, and certainly it's deeply appreciated. And I suppose I don't think it's an exaggeration, Ruthie, to say that he has supported the teen court more than any individual or group in our city.
Mr. Graff has really been wonderful for the program.
Wonderful. Lane, I'd like for you to look out into your camera now and just tell the young people that may be watching us how exciting it is to get into this in about a minute, or maybe a minute and a fourth, and tell them how badly we need them in the teen court and where to call and get in touch with us.
Well, the teen court program is really terrific for the youth of Grand Prairie. The youth of Grand Prairie make the teen court work, because without the volunteer cooperation, it wouldn't be able to function. You really have to go to see how much fun it is. You can sit on a jury, or you can just sit and watch, and it's a lot of fun just to watch, because usually the defense attorneys and the prosecuting attorneys will give you a really great show between the two when they're cross-examining the witnesses, or rather the defendants.
Yes.
If you want to become involved with the teen court, you need to contact Leela McCoy at the courthouse, and that number is 660-9079. And the teen court meets the second and fourth Monday of every month. And you just need to go and get involved. All you do is go in and sign your name, and they'll put you on a jury.
Wonderful. And Judge, we have about a minute and a half left for you. If there are indigent citizens, handicapped citizens, or someone that may need the help of the teen court, if they could call Leela, would you make that plea for us too?
Yes, I will, and thank you for bringing that up, Ruthie. And that's what we're here for. That's what it's all about, to help those who cannot help themselves. And our young boys and girls truly enjoy helping people who are in trouble and need their yard mowed or trash hauled off or something fixed. And please get in touch with us and let us give you a hand in that regard if we can do it. Again, I'll repeat Leela's phone number. It's 660-9079. And we'd be just delighted for you to call us. And if we can't help you, we'll try to steer you in the right direction so you can get some help from wherever you need it.
Well, as one to testify of all of the good things that you all have done, you have helped the Historical Commission in abandoned cemeteries, bringing those back up to snuff and keeping them cleaned for us. You've cleaned the right-of-ways and helped win national awards for Grand Prairie, and for Teen Court received a national award from Keep America Beautiful, from Keep Texas Beautiful, because of all of the services that you do for the community, even though it's under the command of the teen court. We have 1/2 minute left, Judge. Your final say.
Thank you, Ruthie. Let me just say this one thing also. For those of you who are watching, one of the unspoken things that few people don't realize that we do is to educate our young people about our judicial system. We operate this court just as any other court in Dallas or Tarrant County, and it's a wonderful education for